Heat stroke, black lung.
It's like a geological expedition.
Hey folks, Casey here and welcome back to the channel. My 1958 F100 cab is sitting on the Crown Vic chassis. This is everything it took to make that happen. Okay, so this 1958 F100 pickup truck was said to be sitting in the same spot for over 30 years. And judging from some of the things that I found in the cab as I was cleaning it out, I think that timeline is actually probably a little bit short. I think it was probably sitting in that spot since about 1980, which consequently is the year that I was born. And yeah, this Nevada dust is no joke. This thing was about as dirty as any car that I've ever started to work on, but it's all surprisingly in really good shape. So let's get this thing torn down and get you guys a look at what I have as a starting point. Anytime I need to move something heavy, like a car door, I don't sit on my rolly cart. I roll it underneath and use the little telescoping ram to apply some upward pressure on whatever it is that I have to take off. I elected to pull the front clip as one piece only because I've heard that once you take these front clips apart, it's really hard to get everything lined back up again. So pulling it off in one piece, I'm going to try to put it back on in one piece. We'll see how that goes. It does leave you with the challenge of trying to figure out where to put this thing in the meantime, though. I'm getting ready to lift the cab off, but before I can do that, I need to take a couple of reference measurements. Now, I've never done one of these swaps before, so I'm not an expert, so don't quote me on this. There are probably more measurements that I should be taking, but the one that I absolutely need to have is the setback of the cab from the front axle center line, because I'm not going to put the front end back on this thing until I've mounted the cab. I want to make sure that when I put the front end back on, the wheel lands in the center of the wheel opening. It fit right on the truck, so I'm going to take a measurement from the bottom of this cab corner right here, where the fender attaches, to the axle center line. Now, on the Crown Vic chassis, the axle center line is going to be higher. But what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to keep my tape measure parallel to the ground and measure eyeball down to that center of the dust cover over the front wheel bearing. That'll give me a pretty approximate measurement. It's pretty imperative that your wheels are pointing straight ahead when you do this. Measured pretty close on that. I'm coming up with 24.5 on the driver's side and 25.25 on the passenger side. Now, who knows if the cab was sitting perfectly square on the frame. I think a difference of 3/4 of an inch is not crazy on something this old. That's what we're gonna do. We'll probably end up splitting the difference if we can do so feasibly, make it like 25 on both sides. We'll figure it out. My Strongway gantry crane and Vevor 1-ton electric hoist are absolutely indispensable when it comes to lifting things like truck cabs, truck beds, you name it. I did in-depth reviews on both of these items. I will leave links in the description to both of those. All right, so overall, I'm really happy with the condition of this pickup truck. There is some rust. It is 70 years old, so there's gonna be some. But overall, I mean, the floors are in fantastic shape. I don't know how much of the floors ultimately that I'm gonna be able to keep, but I'm gonna keep as much of the floors as I can. There's a little bit of rust in the front corners of the cab. There's a little bit of rear cab corner rust, but overall, for a patina build, I'm not gonna be doing very much metal work on this one. And because metal work takes a lot of time and costs money, I'm glad that I don't have to do a whole lot. Now, when you take a look at the bottom side of these cabs, you've got a lot of bracing and a step that are gonna foul the Crown Victoria chassis. The Crown Victoria frame is incredibly wide. It's a perimeter frame, and you know, so it flares out to have a lot of extra strength. It can be problematic trying to fit a 58 Ford cab on it. So what I've done is I've measured the width of the Crown Victoria frame, and it's basically 58.5 inches. So 59 is gonna be the magic number for the F100 cab. Coming in here, see that we're basically 52.25. 59 minus 52.25 is 6.75. So I'm gonna have to take a little bit more than 3 inches past the edge of the step out of both sides, cut out all the bracing, and then a similar treatment here on the back of the cab. I mean, like see the layers of salt and sand. It's like a geological expedition. Dude, it's so close. So if it's not obvious, my tire is hitting the lift arm basically up against my light on my ceiling joist with the cab. I've got like 2 inches, but 2 inches isn't gonna get it past the lift arm. So I gotta take the axle off the dollies. That should give me enough distance to drop underneath, hopefully. Eight-foot ceiling problems. Room to spare. Thank goodness. Now I'm going to get the chassis back on dollies so that I can maneuver it and get it perfectly centered under the truck cab. Success. The F100 cab is sitting on the Crown Vic chassis. With the help of some wood blocks. It's almost touching the transmission with the wood blocks, and it still could drop another 2 inches down closer to the frame with some sort of trans tunnel. It's also hitting the EGR tube, just barely. It's really close to the cylinder heads, and it's almost touching the transmission fill tube. It still needs to come 2 inches forward to have the tires in the same spot in the fender as it was before. So I'm gonna have to do some firewall clearancing to make that happen. And as you can see, the Crown Vic front mounts are a lot further forward than 2 inches from where this F100 cab wants to sit. So it's not quite in its final positioning yet. And it's pretty low. Right now the rocker is sitting 8.5 inches off the ground. And I know that the suspension is gonna settle when it actually has the full vehicle weight on it. I'd like to end up no closer to the ground than 6 inches. So if I drop the cab another 2 inches down, I'm at 6 inches already with no weight on the chassis. So I almost feel like this thing's gonna end up being too low, but I am putting a slightly taller tire on it, like a 1/2 inch taller. I don't know. That's building a custom car on a chassis that was never meant to be under it. This is the kind of stuff that you have to figure out. But it's on there. It's a huge step in the right direction. All right, folks, I hope you enjoyed this one. From cleaning 30 years worth of garbage and dust out of this F100 cab to the hidden treasures that were in the rocker panels and everything in between. This thing's on the chassis. Now I just have to do everything else. Heat stroke, black lung, I suffer these things for you. I actually do think I got heat stroke today. I've been just sick and like pounding headache all day, sweating profusely even after I stopped working. It was 100 degrees outside. My shop usually runs about 10 degrees hotter than the outside temperature. And I was in such a just stupid driven state that I didn't even think to turn on my swamp coolers. And I was just out here hustling and working, and I definitely overheated. I do these things for you guys, so make sure you smash that like button if you like what you saw in the video. Leave me a comment, let me know what you think. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and if you know anybody who might enjoy these videos, share the videos with them, because that actually helps the algorithm, send people my way more than anything else that you can do. I really appreciate each and every one of you. There's going to be a lot more footage coming on this Crown Vic project. I have 4 weeks until school starts. I want to drive this thing to school on the first day. It's starting to feel pretty far-fetched that would actually happen, but that's still my goal. So anyway, thank you again so much for watching. As always, thanks for all the comments. I super appreciate every single one of them, and we'll see you on the next one.